कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. In this seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where there are 30 verses, we saw in the last class the teachings of Sri Krishna in the 19th and 20th verse. In the 20th verse, I went a bit into more details of the expression Niyamam Asthaya, perhaps a little more than what would have been uh, more appropriate, but I felt tempted to show the larger scope of that word, Niyamam Asthaya, for taken in just the traditional way, people worship various semi-gods and demigods or other celestial divine entities because the whole universe has a certain distribution of powers, distribution of eminence, of abilities, of skills, talents, and everything. That distribution goes vertically and horizontally. In various subjects within our own human world, there are people who are very eminent. We cannot think of reaching there in one lifetime, at least it seems so. And then there are such people among us whose skills are very limited, whose abilities are pathetically limited. As is the case with the human population, so is the case with the entire creation. There are divine celestial creatures. The soul can occupy those bodies. On top of all, of course, there is the Supreme God who alone gives all the power and abilities to everyone else in the universe. Really, no one is really else, but in a manner of saying everyone else. Everything is God only, expressing himself in some form or the other. So, traditional meaning of tam tam niyamam astaya means the meaning is whatever those God forms can bestow upon us. I went a bit wide angle, saying even the political beliefs you subscribe to, the economic scenarios that you are drawn to, practically anything and everything which attracts you in life has its own niyamas. Anything and everything that you subscribe to. There was a girl in my town where I grew up from childhood. She loved the English language so much. And many of us were a bit embarrassed how she was in that small town, so much into English. Sometimes we tried to tease her, taunt her. Ha ha, ha, here comes the English woman. Ha ha, like that. We made fun of her. No, she went ahead undaunted and she said, I love English. And as fate would have it, she married a Kannadiga only, but settled as a physician in UK. And she has been living there last 50 or 60 years. So you love English, you love German, you love Japanese language or culture. Tam tam niyamam astaya. Then your life revolves around that. Whether you go to Japan, Germany, or UK or not, your life will be significantly influenced by what you adore, what you admire. So there is a whole lot of hidden psychology in Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Now, without going again wide angle and far and wide, let me say, Sri Krishna says here, there is a certain supreme truth under which everything else comes, but very few are able to lift their head to see that supreme divinity. Most people settle for other things, religious or secular. There are many other things. Even those who study the Vedanta, I don't mind saying, are such. 9 out of 10 who study the Vedanta are not able to anchor themselves in Vedanta. Pretty soon, within a couple of years after they complete a course of study in whichever ashram, they find something else attracting them. Some go into Tantra, some go into Mantra, some go into some aspect of the Hindu religion, some go into some social dimensions, some become fighters for certain justice in some context. This Vedanta, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, takes a back seat. Many of them stop doing classes also. Many of them who otherwise are trained to teach Gita, Upanishads, and so on, hardly engage any class because they're so busy with other things. Therefore, prapadyante anya devata. Anya devata. So you go anywhere, that is like worshipping another devata. Tam tam niyamavastaya. Then they become part of that ecosystem. Drawing a lot, contributing a lot, and the rest of it. Prakritya niyata swaya. Now, this Prakriti is explained by Adi Shankaracharya. Let's see the whole commentary by him, which is not much, a very short commentary, basically explaining the words that are contained here. Kamaihi, taihi, taihi. When a pronoun is repeated, taihi, taihi, it refers to a wide variety of possible desires. Driven by respective desires. Somebody who desires to know more and more of the English language, then gets into more and more of the English culture, English literature, English music, English, everything English. Taihi taihi. In Indian languages, repetition of a pronoun leads to that, which is not so in English, though a word like many can be repeated. I don't know whether that can be called a pronoun at all. You do say, many people have said. That is correct. But you cannot say he, and she, and her, and his. That is no problem, not possible. Anyway, let's not go more into language. Taihi kamaihi apahrita jnana. Sri Krishna comes down on them actually. Your wisdom, your intelligence is robbed, is taken away by all these other interests which you have. Even in the study of Vedanta, I am acutely aware of it. Certain interest in language is good to an extent, but if it is not kept under check, that can be also a diversion and a distraction. More than the truth that is taught, the student then becomes more attached to how the truth is expressed, what illustration, what words are used, what rhyme, what chandas, meter, and so on. The truth takes a back seat. It is like a child is more drawn to the wrapper of a chocolate rather than the chocolate itself. Alas. Apahrita jnana. You and I need to see whether our life has been hijacked by some other interest, some other desire. Kama is desire. Taihi kamaihi. Shankaracharya gives a traditional meaning. Putra pashu swargadi vishayahi. This becomes an idiomatic expression. Sun, cattle, and heaven. Elsewhere, this is called iha and para. There are enjoyments in this world, there are enjoyments up there in the heaven, and they attract us very strongly. Hrita jnana, apahrita or hrita, apahrita viveka vijnana. Then their discrimination goes for a six, as we say, going for a six. Maybe it's a cricket based expression, a sixer, when the ball goes out of the field, goes for a six. Apahrita viveka vijnana. When you and I look back at our own life, we find the blunders that we had committed were all because at that moment we did not have the viveka. What is right, what is wrong, whom to trust and whom to reject, what option to take, what option to leave, where to say yes and where to say no. In that matter of choosing, we make a mistake. Then later we say, oh, at that moment I could not discern, discriminate. Therefore, there was aviveka. And let it be said, aviveka is at the very foundation of our miserable jiva bhava, jiva jivana, life as an individual soul. We are not able to distinguish between anatma and atma. Apahrita viveka vijnana is thus a powerful adjective to all of us. We are all apahrita viveka vijnana. Our viveka and vijnana have been stolen away by kama. Third chapter, therefore, called kama. Mahashano mahapapma vidhi enam iha vairinam. No desire to be your number one enemy. Anya devataha prapadyante. They take refuge in other positions of power. Vasudevat atmanaha anyaha devata. Vasudeva, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Mahavishnu, is on top. And these vast majority of humanity leave Vasudeva. This I'll get back there later. Now I am interested in this Indra, in that Varuna, in this prime minister, in this president, in this mayor, in this cinema actor, in this Olympic gold winner, in this eminent cricket star, not to mention fine woman and power and so on. Attractions. I will get back to the supreme truth later. Right now, all I want is a bottle of whiskey, says the man attached to drinking. That bottle of whiskey becomes extremely important to him. That is also Anya Devata in the wider sense of the term. Vasudevat Anyaha Devata. Real happiness is in Mahavishnu. And then Tam Tam Niyama Mastaya. Whatever niyama is all the boundary conditions, all the characteristics, all the rules and regulations, all the responsibilities and rewards. When you occupy a certain position, you have certain responsibilities, one side of the story, then you have certain rewards. typically, most people, even after retirement, look around, and when they get a chance to work in an organization, maybe a private organization or government, in one sense they are retired, but they grab another job because to sit quiet at home is not easy, number one. And then they have the sense of, I have certain skills, talents, knowledge, let me use it till as far as I can. And it's a package deal. They get certain rewards, perks, perquisites, and what you call various privileges, but they also have responsibility. Some people work even when they are 78, 80, they are all old. And then they say, I'll do. Then when it is no more possible, they say, they hang the boots. Tam tam niyamam. So it's a package deal. Devata aradhane prasiddhaha niyamaha yaha tam astaya. You have no other go. You signed up. Now fully go by it. Not all fully go by it. That's another story. They then pay a price for it. There was a man who took the position of a professor in Banaras Hindu University. But somewhere down the road, first he was very good, but down the road he got so distracted and hardly was coming to office. I heard this. I did not meet him directly, but I heard this from a very reliable source. In any organization, such things happen. Why isolate or identify Banaras Hindu University? It can happen in any university in any part of the world. There's one professor who did not engage any classes, did not do any academic work, did not even turn up. He thought nobody would question him. But then the vice chancellor one day made some inquiries. He came to know 10 kilometers away there is a piece of land where you will find him. So vice chancellor took a jeep and went there. And this professor was overseeing construction of his private house. Rama Rama. See how much irresponsible he had become. He was so eager to finish his own wonderful house and was every morning going there looking at how things are coming along. And the vice chancellor took him to task. I guess vice chancellor suspended that senior professor, gave him a real warning. If you do this anymore, I will dismiss you. Right now, you are suspended. So he became a professor, was doing well. For a while, Niyama Mastaya. He went by the rules and regulations, responsibilities, etc. of the college, which we gave him the monthly salary, which gave him so many perks. But somewhere down the road, got distracted. That's a different story. But otherwise, in the simple standard picture, you go rich, you become member of some organization, tam tam niyama mastaya. Okay, Shankaracharya says, Prakritya, what makes us sign up for a particular domain? Sometimes the three children of the same mother sign up for different professions. One goes for medical profession, another remains in the village doing agriculture, the third one goes for some finance related field, and all of them day and night work in those fields. Shankaracharya gives an explanation which is so unique and which is the hallmark of Hinduism. Prakritya means swabhavena. Well, they have those tendencies. In childhood, all three children would have looked alike. But just wait. Within a few years, the hidden tendencies expressed. But if you ask where these hidden tendencies came from, Janmantararjita sanskara visheshena swabhavena. The swabhava, a particular nature of an individual, is arjita, is earned, is acquired in previous lives. in previous lives. So if this girl in my town, who is now who is older, I think who is 72 or something now, living in England, if this girl among so many boys and girls in my small town was so much interested in the English language, enjoying some expression used by Shakespeare or William Wordsworth or X or Y, what made her do that? Nobody else. Her brothers and sisters were not at all into English so much. This girl in her previous life might have been an English teacher, or she might have been very much touched by an uncle or aunt in her previous life who actually taught her a lot of English literature. And then in this life, from early childhood, Janmantara Arjita Sanskara Visheshena, right at the age of 6 or 7, she is singing some nursery rhyme or some little song in English, wants to go see the English play that has come to her town just for 2 days. She wants to go. She doesn't want to miss. I want to see Sound of Music. I want to see some classic. Oh, she would urge her father. In our small town, this classic movie has come. The father doesn't even know what movie, what are you talking? See, Gone with the Wind, the English classic, huge novel that made into a movie has come, 4 hours movie. I want to see, Papa, take me there. And the father takes her, he goes to sleep halfway. The young girl, 9-year-old now, watches every bit of Gone with the Wind. Oh, so on. Because she was in her previous life neck deep into English literature. So, Niyata, that's what shapes her life later on. Anyway, all of us are whatever we are because of what we did, what we saw, what we experienced, what choices we made in our previous life. That is the Karma Siddhanta, which is, as all of you know very well, totally different from Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a certain wisdom involved in doing our work, discharging our responsibilities, duties in a very wise way. That is Karma Yoga. It's the art of working with wisdom, without selfishness and all that. Whereas Karma Siddhanta is as you sow, so shall you reap. You can't escape. As the expression goes, the long hand of law will catch you. You think that you have escaped and run away. Suddenly you find something tightening around your neck. Oh, the long hand of law catches you. That is Karma Siddhanta. What you are is the result of what you did before, but Swami Chinmayananji gives us a great hope. Don't be sad that your past is controlling your present. Your future, he made a statement with his own wit and wisdom. Your future is your past as modified by your present. Your tomorrow is your yesterday as modified by your today. So, what you do today can modify, can change the direction to less or more extent. Therefore, you are not helplessly driven by your past. The past does exert a force, but the present, what you do today, can make a difference, sometimes significantly, sometimes a little bit. Therefore, act in the living present. Even Longfellow sings in his famous poem, The Psalm of Life. Act in the living present with God overhead. God is watching you. Do your part today with Viveka. 10 lives you spent in Aviveka, never mind. Can you spend this life with Viveka, carefully choosing what to say, what not to say, how much to say, and where to stop? We do Aviveka in all this. Yesterday I had a visitor, I got so excited. I spoke continuously for 2 hours with him. Of course, he also spoke a little in the middle, but I just shared with him. Later on, I was so tired. In the evening and late evening, I had no energy left because I talked so much with my a good friend, you know, talked so much. I was so generous in sharing sort of information with him. So when we overdo anything, eating or talking or sleeping or so on, anything, then that's it. You spoiled your day. Though you may say, no, it was for a good purpose. I meant to help him. I was serving her. I was. No justification will really bring peace to your heart because even in the name of serving somebody, helping somebody for their benefit and for his benefit, etc., in the process, you lose your balance. The rest of your day or somewhere else, you will not be able to act carefully because there was energy disturbance. When you ate more than what you could really digest, you would feel sleepy or tamasic in some other way. So, Janmantararjita Sanskara Visheshana Niyataha Swaya. That's, that is Swa Prakriti Swaya Prakritya, by one's own nature. So don't blame your parents beyond a certain point. To an extent, yes, but finally, it is you, your nature, your vasanas, which cause all these problems. And Sri Shankaracharya takes us now to the next verse where we have no connecting line, but we must say Sri Krishna himself elaborates on that process where, driven by our past sanskaras, we opt for a certain way of living in this life, and then very difficult to make any mid-course correction. We keep going that direction. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhaya architumichhati tasya tasya achalam shraddham tam eva vidadhami aham. Lord Sri Krishna is amazing. He doesn't blame the individual fully. He says, it's all my work. I do it. Vidadhami aham. If somebody takes a lot of interest in movies, let's say, dreams of becoming an actor, he is in a distant small town of Orissa, but watching some movies of Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan, he says, I want to go to Bombay. I want to become an actor. I want to become a hero. A little boy in some Jain Canal or some small town of Orissa, Rourkela, somewhere. His parents are surprised. What's going on? This boy is so much interested in going to Mumbai, pursuing a dream in Bollywood. And Sri Krishna says, Yo yo yam yam tanu. So, in my broader example, that boy in Dhain Canal is adoring Amitabh Bachchan. Not Krishna, not Shiva, not Rama, not Devi, not Ganesha, not Indra, not Varuna, but his god is Amitabh Bachchan. Big B, they call. The big B of Bollywood. Then what happens? Yo, yo, whoever, yaha, yaha, yam, yam, whichever form of God, bhaktaha architum ichhati, he wants to involve more and more. Shraddhaya architum ichchati. Sri Krishna says, I recognize that and I say tathastu. I actually sponsor, promote, support, fund and finance his dreams. I make the parents agree. They take him to Mumbai. Then they find out that he better do a 2-year course in Film and Television Institute in Pune. Okay, he is put in FTII or something. There is an institute. Now more private institutes also have come. In the olden days, there was one institute in Pune, Film and Television Institute. Even now it is working, it's well known, where you can learn acting, directing, producing, cinematography, and a whole range of disciplines related to the film world and the television world. So Sri Krishna says, I make that Jivatma get into it. I bless him. Shraddhaya architumicchati tasya tasya, to that person, to the girl who is interested in English, to the boy who is interested in movies, another, let's come to traditional meaning. Another person in Punjab, a boy wants to study Bhagavad Geetā. I bring a guru to his town and the guru attracts the boy. The boy wants to walk away with that guru. How did this guru come to this small town? Sri Krishna sent that guru. Everything happens so well timed. Not a day before, not a day later. We are reading in news how many? Some 300 or more passengers of the Japan Airlines plane, which caught fire because a little Coast Guard small plane made a mistake. Though they were told to hold back, they just went ahead and came on the runway, and this had just landed. The big plane, Airbus, hit against the small plane of Coast Guard. Everybody died in the Coast Guard plane, some 8 or 10, I guess. Whereas nearly 300, if not more, on the Japan Airlines, the whole plane went up in flames. But all of them survived because of perfect discipline. Majority were Japanese. Today I watched a 4 minutes video early morning, and some expert was asked by journalists, how do you explain that not even a single person got much injured or no one died? The first thing he says is there are several factors. The expert, administrator, as well as a technical person, perhaps, he says, the thing is, majority of the passengers were Japanese, and Japanese are known for a certain discipline. When the pilot and the crew say, don't move, be where you are, we will tell you how to start moving. And they all stay there. They don't disobey. And they were all asked, don't try to pick your bag, don't try to move here and there. No, forget about your bag above your head. Just with whatever you have on your person, come. And there are the 3 exits out of 8. 3 only were, I believe, working properly. And there you go. All of them stayed calm and they came down. Amazing, it's a miracle. Then, of course, he did give credit to the Airbus aircraft, Airbus of France, which has branches in England and so on. Just the other day, Vedanta student working in Airbus in Bristol, United Kingdom, who is from Mumbai originally, had come and met me. So I should send that little video to him. Yeah, your Airbus is praised here. Aeronautical engineer from Powai. So I should tell him. So perfect movement, no delay. If couple of passengers had created some disorder, taking things in their own hands, not listening to the crew, then there would have been a lot of confusion. Anyway, coming back, Sri Krishna says, I nurture that faith, that inclination, that longing, and ensure, with of course some ups and downs, which is part of life. Nothing is smooth. There are moments of disappointment, moments of frustration. Then there is a moment of jubilation, celebration. Oh, I made it. The boy from Orissa, let's say, made it, became a well known actor in Bollywood, changing his name, changing his many, many things he has to change to adapt to the culture, to the ecosystem of Bollywood. And he is now a top class actor, let us say. That's not a smooth journey. No journey is smooth. The journey of success necessarily has lot of ups and downs. However, Sri Krishna is overseeing it all. Tameva vidadhamya. Sri Krishna is not some sort of a dictator who would say to a jiva, you are taking interest in Shiva? I don't like it. Please worship Vishnu. He is not somebody to say to some jivatma who is lover of Devi. This Devi, not they to change, worship Indra. No, no, he doesn't interfere. Those who worship Devi are provided necessary guidance. Those who worship Indra are provided necessary advanced material. Those who want to give pravachans are provided with necessary guidance, necessary material, necessary skills. Sri Krishna makes them okay. Your vasana, there is no need to give pravachans, but you never listen. Even COVID could not stop you from giving lectures. You started these online lectures. What a prarabdha you have. Never mind. I give you Zoom and what is that? Google Meet, and then Cisco has some systems. So many software came for all those who are with the Swabhava, Prakriti, Purva Vasanas of giving lectures, spiritual or other. They were facilitated. So it is the divine will that human aspirations find a new way to get fulfilled. Tasya tasya achalam shraddham vidadhami. Shankaracharya says, Tesham cha kaminam. These are all kamis, including those who write books and give pravachans and go around and teach others Bhagavad Geetā. They are also, it's a sattvic good karma, but still it is a karma. Rather than let go of kartrutva, let go of bhoktritva. I am not doing anything. Hari is doing anything and everything through this body. It's Hari Icha. Tomorrow, if Hari wants me not to sing, not to act in movies, not to play in cricket matches, not to be an administrator, tomorrow Hari makes a new plan for me, so be it. Hardly anyone is like that. If a Bollywood actor suddenly is unable to act, some accident and some disability, he will pray with all his heart. Lord, what is happening? I wanted to act for another 10 years at least. Don't make me retire halfway. He will go to Siddhi Vinayaka, he will go to Haji Ali, he will go to that some church in Mahim. He will go to in Hindu, Christian, Buddhist, Islamic and all places of prayer and beg God, please don't stop me acting. And the God says, this man has or this lady is so much of karma on a certain plane. Okay. So God blesses him if God wants to. In this context, yes, God blesses him with good health again and he works in that field for 10 more years. Then when Vairagya arises in him, he Let's go of that attachment. Kaminam. They're all kamis only. Just like it was said, Artharthi, Jnanarthi, Jidnasu, and Arti Nivaranarthi, to be relieved of some calamity, some adversity. Tesham Kaminam Yo Yaha Kami Yam Yam Devatatanum. Traditionally, it is a god form. One of the Tippanikaras says, all the gods, Indra, Varuna, Tarksha, Vayu, Yama, they say there are 33 kinds of gods. And that got misunderstood as 33 crores because there is an expression in Sanskrit as well as other languages, Trayas Trimshat or something, Koti. The word Koti is added. And Koti is translated by people as crore. That means 100 lakhs. So it is corrected recently by learned scholars. Koti doesn't mean crore. Koti means type. So 33 Koti means 33 types. Because the word Koti is used. Suppose somebody is a great scholar, they say, he is a Ucha Koti Vidwan. Ucha Koti Vidwan. That is a scholar of Ucha Koti, of a very high caliber, high category, high group. And Nicha Koti or Madhyama Koti. Koti means a group. So there are 33 kinds or groups of Devatas. Anyway, the Tippanakara says, these Devatas in the heaven, they take what you offer in Yajna and Yaga, Homa and Havana. Indra idam na mama, you say, and offer ghee, offer balls of rice and other permitted things. So in order to accept the offerings of devotees and to consume it, they got to have a body. Tanu means body. So if you have awakened to certain stature, you will be able to see their forms. When they come and accept the offerings in the fire, sacrificial fire, ritual fire, one professor in Duke University, this time during my US tour, what's his name? Kishore Trivedi. Yeah. He said to me after I gave a lecture on Yajna, he said, Swamiji, your lecture was extra excellent. You must come more often to our Duke University. All that he said. Then he said one little advice because Professor Kishore Trivedi at age 78 is still working as a professor in Duke University in North Carolina. And he's very much into Sanatan Dharma and promoting many things. He's very nice gentleman. Okay, so he said to me, don't translate the word yajna anymore as sacrifice. I said, I have been doing it last 40 years. Yeah, but you don't know. You have, by the word sacrifice, you have right meaning. Offer sacrificing means letting go of ghee or balls of rice, etc., into fire. That is sacrifice. But this Western world where I am living for 50 years, Swamiji, he went at the age of 20 or 21 to US and became a professor of electrical engineering, then computer science, etc. in the Duke University. He says, I am in this Western world, and you see, the Western mind, the moment you use the word sacrifice, they conjure up in their mind sacrificing a goat, sacrificing a cow, not cow, what you call some other animal, animal sacrifice, some buffalo or something. You kill buffalo, blood is flowing, and this is sacrificed for this god, etc. This Western mind is more accustomed to understand the word sacrifice as killing some animal and so on. Therefore, when you talk about yajna dana tapak karma, and there yajna comes. So this came here also. So coming back, when you offer, The devatas come, and if you have done certain sadhanas, certain upasanas, you will be able to see the devata coming and accepting in subtle form what you offer with appropriate mantra. So the Tippankara says Tanu means form, male form or female form, radiant form with certain humanoid, features. You will be able to see. Devatatanum Shraddhaya Sayuktaha Bhaktaha Architum Pujayitum Ichchati Tasya Tasya Kaminaha Achalam Shraddham Stiram Shraddham Vidadami. I give, I grant to them. I pour more fuel into that fire that is burning in their bosom. I act as a catalyst. I fuel it up. Somebody wants to go to Bollywood from a village in Orissa. I make him have stronger and stronger desire till his parents have no other way than to take him to Bombay and introduce him, involve him in some. With their minimum resources, all the same, they make a trip to what was in olden days the distant Mumbai. In olden days, to go to Bombay was no less than going abroad. When I was in primary school, somebody came with a parrot and said, the parrot will tell your future. So there were cards which were spread on the ground. My mother gave him some small amount of money, yes. And one of my sisters was, about her it was asked. Let the parrot say what will happen to her in future. And he released the parrot from some cage. It came jumping down and it picked up a card. And the man read that card. He said, this daughter will rise very high in life. So we asked, we were all watching. He asked, my mother asked, very high means where will she go? She will go abroad. This girl will go abroad. What do you think? She is going abroad. Then my mother asked that parrot man, abroad means which country? She'll go to Bombay, nothing less than Bombay. You'll just see. By the time she is 20-year-old, she will go to Bombay. So we knew, that parrot man did not know that Bombay is not foreign country. But that was how the villages, somebody going to Bombay was a big thing. Anyway, so Tameva Shraddham Vidadhami. We get beautiful insights into what is order amidst all this chaos. Swami Chinmayananji therefore used to say, this creation, this universe is not a chaos. It looks like a chaos. It is a cosmos. That was his way of putting it. In recent times, Sadguru Jaggi Vasudev goes on telling, especially foreigners or these NRIs. These NRIs come once a year to India, then meet some Babaji also, like Sadguru. And one of their questions is, Swamiji or Sadguru, why is India so messy? There is no discipline, it's all such chaotic. Why is India so chaotic? And one of the short clips is very witty. You don't have to accept him literally, but he makes a good point though. He says there is nothing wrong with India. India is amazing. There is no chaos here. The chaos is in your eyes, he says to an NRI, non-resident Indian. There is no chaos here. Actually, there is a great order in the chaos. Problem is you are seeing India, he uses the word, using a Western template. We have a Western template. And so you're so used to the Western template, and then you try to judge India. Don't do that. See India with Indian eyes. Oh, I also don't accept him fully, but there is some wit in it and some truth in it. India with how many 130 crores or 140 crores, right? So with huge population, so much diversity and all that runs in its own way, sometimes in an amazing manner. If you count, just to give a quick example, if you see the figure, number of people traveling by Indian railways in a single day, probably there is no match in anywhere in the world. Some huge numbers, I can't tell you the figure, statistics, some unbelievably huge number of people, men, women, children, etc., board the trains, get off the train, and the train moves on, and so on. And there's a whole network of Indian Railways now growing more and more with some modern trains also, Vande Bharat and whatnot. But these figures are astounding. And if once in a while there is an accident, once in a while there is an accident in England and America, Japan and Australia. So January 2, the clash, collision, the collision between Japan Airlines Airbus and a small plane of the Japan Coast Guard. Those guys were good people. They were in a hurry to reach a place of a bad earthquake to give relief. That Coast Guard was in a hurry with that in mind. Poor fellows. They misjudged. And the collision was a very bad accident. We talked about it in this lecture itself, earlier part. Accidents of many kinds keep happening, and India is no exception to it. Anyway, so Tameva Vidhagami, I was saying you begin to see, without becoming insensitive or indifferent to the misery and suffering in this world, you begin to see that there is a certain order. Even this Karma Siddhanta, let me say this and conclude. Karma Siddhanta, if we have not pondered deeply, can come across as a very, unkind affair. Why should I suffer for what I did in a previous life which I don't even remember and I have no I like that they argue. The counter question is, so do you want to suffer for something which somebody else did? Do you want to suffer for something that you never did? Is it not more appropriate that you suffer in this life through an accident or through some illness or through financial loss, through breaking of some relationship? There are so many ways in which you and I suffer in life. Do you want to suffer for a fault of some other Jivatma? Is it not fairer that what you go through in this life is because of what you did in previous life? Why do you look at it as negative and unkind, and why do you say to God, God, if you want me to suffer in this life, please give me details of what wrong I did in last life. Who are you to give instructions to God? Rather, have faith in God and have that noble sentiment. Something wrong I must have done. I don't want details, but my God is kind. My God is compassionate. He will never punish me for what I had not done. So the message is I must live with more viveka. अविवेकतः पापं कृतं मया तस्मात् कारणात् अधुना अस्मिन् जन्मनि मम एतद् दुःखम्. All the suffering has come to me. I don't mind. But God give me good buddhi. Let me not go by that aviveka in this life. Let me be careful, etc. That kind of positive outlook is promoted by the Karma Siddhanta. Karma Siddhanta is not something that promotes indifference, insensitivity. Somebody is suffering, that is his karma. I am not bothered. He is paying for his karma. Like that. That kind of behavior is not at all endorsed by our Shastras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.